Every morning, millions of people wake up with dreams in their hearts and ideas in their minds. But by nightfall, most of those dreams remain exactly where they started, just thoughts. I used to be one of those people, standing at my window each morning, coffee in hand, thinking about all the things I could achieve someday. I remember the exact moment everything changed for me. It was a regular Tuesday morning at my old desk job. I had spent 3 years telling myself I wasn't ready to start my own business. 3 years of watching others take chances while I stayed safely in my comfort zone. That morning, I opened my drawer and found an old note I had written to myself about my goals, the date on it, 3 years earlier. Nothing had changed except the paper had turned yellow. That hit me like a ton of bricks. It wasn't lack of knowledge holding me back. It wasn't lack of opportunity. It was simply fear dressed up as preparation. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? That voice in your head that says, just wait until you have more experience, or you need to learn more before you start, or my personal favorite, what will others think? In this room, I know there are people who have been carrying dreams in their hearts for months, maybe even years. Some of you want to start businesses. Others dream of writing books. Maybe you want to transform your health, rebuild a relationship, or master a new skill. But something keeps holding you back. Nobody tells you about success. The hardest part isn't the work. It's not the long hours, the sacrifices, or even the challenges you'll face. The hardest part is taking that first step. It's making the decision to stop planning and start doing. I've worked with thousands of people over the years, from CEOs to stay-at-home parents, wanting to start side businesses. What separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't. It's not talent, it's not intelligence, it's not even resources. It's the willingness to begin before they feel completely ready. When you have achieved something important in your life, maybe it was learning to ride a bike, getting your degree, or landing your first job, did you feel completely ready when you started? Of course not. But you started anyway, and that made all the difference. When you study highly successful people across any field, you'll notice they all share one common trait. They are action-oriented. They understand that motion beats meditation when it comes to achieving goals. They know that clarity comes from engagement, not thought. Once you understand the psychology behind taking the first step, once you grasp why your brain resists change and how to work with it instead of against it, everything becomes possible. This isn't about motivation that fades by tomorrow morning. This is about fundamental transformation in how you approach your goals and dreams. Remember, the path to everything you want begins with a single step. And right now, at this moment, you're about to discover exactly how to take that step with confidence and purpose. The most powerful moment in any person's life isn't when they achieve their goal. It's when they make an unshakable decision to change. I'm talking about that split second when something inside you shifts and you know, not think, not hope, but know that things will never be the same again. I was sitting across from a top executive just last week. He'd been talking about changing careers for 5 years. 5 years of gathering information, analyzing options, weighing pros and cons. Then he told me something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, I realized I've spent more time thinking about changing than it would have taken to actually change. That's the trap most people fall into. They think decision making is a long, drawn out process. But real decisions, the ones that change your life, happen in an instant. Everything else is just preparation or procrastination. What happens in your brain when you make a true decision? Your mind shifts from should I to how will I? That's the transformation point. That's when excuses disappear and solutions appear. It's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, your brain starts working for you instead of against you. Most people don't actually decide, they kind of decide. They sort of commit. They keep one foot in and one foot out. That's not, decision making. That's wishful thinking. And wishful thinking has never built a business, lost weight, or changed the world. When you're driving your car, when you decide to turn right, you don't partially turn the wheel. You don't debate with yourself about whether you should turn while you're in the middle of the intersection. You commit fully to that turn. That's how real decisions work in life. I've seen people transform their lives overnight because of one decision. A decision to quit smoking, a decision to start a business, a decision to repair a broken relationship. The circumstances didn't change. The obstacles didn't disappear. The only thing that changed was their decision to move forward no matter what. You'll never have all the information. Never. The most successful people in the world make decisions with about 70% of the information they'd like to have. Why? Because they understand that the cost of waiting for perfect information is higher than the cost of making a mistake. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not to make you successful. It's programmed to avoid risk, avoid change, avoid anything that might threaten your survival. That made sense when we were living in caves, but it's holding you back in today's world. Every time you're about to make a significant decision, your brain will flood you with doubts, fears, and worst case scenarios. Understanding this is crucial because it means your fears and doubts aren't signs that you're making the wrong decision. They're signs that you're making a decision big enough to matter. The bigger the decision, the stronger the resistance. That's normal. That's natural. Most importantly, that's necessary for growth. The word decide comes from Latin, and it literally means to cut off. When you truly decide, you cut off all other possibilities. You burn the bridges behind you. You create a situation where you must move forward because there's no going back. This is why successful people make decisions quickly and change them slowly, while unsuccessful people make decisions slowly and change them quickly. When you truly decide, when you cut off all other options, your brain stops wasting energy on what if and starts focusing on what next. Take out your phone right now. Look at the time. This moment right now can be the moment everything changes. Not because I'm telling you this, but because you're ready to make a real decision. A decision that's not based on circumstances or feelings or what other people, a decision based on who you want to become and what you want to achieve. The power of that decision, once made, will carry you through doubts, through obstacles, through temporary failures. Because a true decision is backed by two things: absolute clarity about what you want and an unshakable commitment to achieving it. Fear. The only emotion that people spend their entire lives trying to avoid, when in reality, it's the clear signal that you're on the right path. Every time you feel that knot in your stomach, that voice telling you to step back, that's not a warning sign. That's your opportunity for growth knocking at your door. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you changed my entire perspective on success. I worked with an Olympic athlete who taught me something profound. Before every major competition, she felt exactly the same fear she felt during her first race. But there was a crucial difference. She had learned to interpret that fear differently. Instead of seeing it as a signal to stop, she saw it as her body's way of saying, this matters, this is worth doing. The fear you feel when you're about to take action isn't trying to stop you, it's trying to prepare you. Your heart beats faster to pump more oxygen to your brain. Your senses become sharper, your focus intensifies. These aren't signs of weakness. They're your body's way of making you stronger. I remember working with a small business owner who had been paralyzed by the fear of expansion. Every night, she'd lie awake thinking about all the things that could go wrong. Then one day she did something remarkable. She took out a piece of paper and wrote down everything she was afraid of. And next to each fear, she wrote down what that fear was trying to teach her. Fear of losing money became a lesson in better financial planning. Fear of hiring the wrong people became an opportunity to develop better leadership skills. Fear of failure became a roadmap for what she needed to learn. Within 6 months, her business had doubled in size, not because the fears went away, but because she learned to use them as guidance. The size of your fear is directly proportional to the size of your potential growth. Small fears signal small opportunities. Big fears signal big opportunities. When you understand this, fear becomes your compass, not your cage. Success lies on the other side of fear, every single time. But most people turn back right at the edge of their breakthrough. They interpret their fear as a sign that something's wrong, when in fact, everything is exactly right. They're exactly where they need to be for massive growth. Your comfort zone isn't really comfortable. It's just familiar. And everything you want, everything you dream of, everything you're capable of becoming exists outside that familiar space. The only way to reach it is to walk straight through your fear. Think about your biggest fear regarding your goals. Got it? Now ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? What capabilities am I being called to develop? What strengths am I being asked to build? The most successful people in the world aren't fearless. They're fear. Smart. They understand that fear is not their enemy. It's their teacher. They know that every fear comes packaged with a lesson, and every lesson moves them closer to their goals. The faster you run toward your fears, the faster they dissolve, because what you fear most contains your greatest growth. The very thing you're afraid to do is the thing you need to do most for your development, for your success, for your fulfillment. Success leaves footprints. I've spent years studying people who've achieved extraordinary results, and I've discovered something remarkable. They all follow the same basic formula, whether they know it or not. It's not complex, but it requires something most people aren't willing to give: total commitment to simple, proven principles. A few months ago, I sat down with a woman who had tried to start 3 different businesses. Each time she got stuck in the same place. I don't understand. She told me, I'm working harder than everyone I know. Why isn't it working? As we talked, something became clear. She was working hard, but she was missing the success formula that turns dreams into reality. Success is not about hard work. It's about working smarter with absolute clarity. Think about a satellite navigation system. You can't get directions until you do what? Until you enter the destination. Yet most people spend their lives driving around with no clear destination, wondering why they never arrive where they want to be. The first element of the success formula is crystal. Clear goals, not vague wishes like I want to be successful or I want to make more money. I mean, goals so clear you can see them, feel them, taste them. When I ask people about their goals, they often give me fuzzy answers. But fuzzy goals produce fuzzy results. Clear goals produce clear results. Since, write this down. Your life will never exceed your standards. Never. If you want better results, you need better goals. Your goals should scare you a little and excite you a lot. They should pull you out of bed in the morning with energy and drive. Most people go wrong with goal setting. They set the goal and then they sit back and wait for inspiration to strike. That's not how success works. The second part of the formula is strategic planning. breaking down your big goal into small, manageable pieces. I worked with a man who wanted to build $1 million business. Big goal, right? But we broke it down. $1 million means roughly $83,000 per month. That's about $2,700 per day. Suddenly, $1 million doesn't seem impossible. It becomes a daily target. That's the power of strategic planning. Your mind can only handle so much at once. When you try to focus on a big goal without breaking it down, your brain gets overwhelmed and shuts down. But when you break that same goal into small daily actions, something magical happens. Your brain says, hey, I can do that. Now comes the third part of the formula, and this is where most people fall off track. Immediate action. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Right now, today, this moment. Success is not about what you're going to do. It's about what you're doing right now. The most dangerous word in the success vocabulary is tomorrow. Every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're really saying, I'm not serious about my goals. Action isn't just about getting results. It's about getting feedback. Every action you take gives you information. Every step forward teaches you something valuable about yourself and your goal. Look at any successful person. They didn't succeed because they got everything right the first time. They succeeded because they took action, got feedback, adjusted their approach, and kept moving forward. That's the fourth part of the formula. Learning from feedback. Most people treat feedback like it's punishment. They get negative results and quit. But successful people treat feedback like it's pure gold. They understand that every failure is really just information about what doesn't work. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times. But what do? They get up, adjust their balance, and try again. They don't lie on the floor crying, maybe walking isn't for me. They instinctively understand that falling is part of learning. Your success works the same way. Every time something doesn't work out as planned, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I adjust my approach? What's the feedback telling me about what needs to change? Remember this. The formula never fails. If you're not getting the results you want, you're not following the formula. Either your goals aren't clear enough, your plan isn't detailed enough, your actions aren't consistent enough, or you're not learning from your feedback. The beauty of this formula is that it works for everything. Whether you want to build a business, improve your relationships, transform your health, or achieve any other goal, the formula remains the same. Clear goals, strategic planning, immediate action, and learning from feedback. The human mind will struggle harder to protect a limited belief than to create a new possibility. Just yesterday I was talking with someone who said, I'm just not good with money. Not as an observation, but as an identity. Think about that. This person had turned a temporary situation into a permanent limitation. Your beliefs are like the operating system of your life. They run silently in the background, controlling every decision, every action, and every result you get. But here's the key. You weren't born with these beliefs. Someone installed them, or you installed them yourself through experience and interpretation. I remember working with a top sales professional who couldn't break past a certain income level. Year after year, he'd hit the same ceiling. When we dug deeper, we discovered something remarkable. Growing up, he'd constantly heard, rich people are dishonest. His subconscious mind was literally fighting against his success to maintain his integrity. Once we identified this limiting belief, everything changed. Within 6 months, he doubled his income, not by working harder, but by removing the mental block that was holding him back. Limiting beliefs, they're comfortable lies. We tell ourselves to avoid uncomfortable growth. I'm too old to start. I don't have enough education. The market is too competitive. These aren't facts. They're excuses dressed up as facts. Your mind is like a thermostat. If you set it at 70 degrees, it will fight to maintain that temperature. If it gets too hot, it cools down. Too cold, it heats up. Your beliefs work the same way. They create a comfort zone, and your mind will fight to maintain it. The key to breakthrough success is resetting your mental thermostat. Start by doing this. Whenever you catch yourself saying, I can't or I'm not, stop and add 3 simple words. Up until now, I'm not good at public speaking. Up until now. I can't run my own business. Up until now. This simple phrase opens the door to possibility. But identifying limiting beliefs isn't enough. You need to replace them with empowering ones. Nature abhors a vacuum. If you remove a limiting belief without replacing it, the old belief will rush back in. That's why people often slip back into old patterns even after making progress. A powerful exercise I want you to do right now. Take out your phone or a piece of paper. Write down the 3 biggest limitations you believe about yourself. Now, next to each one, write down its opposite. If you wrote, I'm not smart enough, right? I'm constantly learning and growing. If you wrote, I'm too old, write my experience is my greatest asset. These new beliefs might feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Remember, your mind is like a muscle. It gets stronger with repetition. The more you practice your new beliefs, the more natural they become. What most people don't understand about belief systems, they're built through evidence. Every time you take action that supports your new belief, you strengthen it. Every small win, every step forward, every bit of progress becomes evidence for your new empowering belief. Everything you've achieved in life started with a belief that it was possible. Walking, reading, driving a car. At some point, you believed you could do these things, and that belief drove your actions until it became reality. Your potential isn't limited by your abilities. It's limited by your beliefs about your abilities. The most successful people in the world aren't necessarily the most talented. They're the ones who believe most strongly in their ability to succeed. And here's the most powerful truth about beliefs. They create a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you truly believe something is possible, you act differently. You persist longer, you try harder, you notice opportunities you would have missed before. The most powerful force in the universe isn't talent, intelligence, or even luck. It's momentum. I learned this lesson the hard way early in my career, and it completely transformed how I approach success. Picture a rocket ship launching into space. Do you know that 80 of its fuel is used in the first few minutes of takeoff, but once it breaks through the atmosphere, it can travel incredible distances with minimal energy? Success works exactly the same way. The hardest part isn't reaching your goal. It's getting started and pushing through those first few moments of resistance. But here's what's incredible. Once you build momentum, it becomes harder to stop than to keep going. I worked with a man who had been trying to write a book for 7 years. 7 years of starting and stopping, never building any real momentum. One day, I told him something that changed everything. Don't focus on writing a book. Focus on writing for 15 minutes every single day. Within 6 months, he had completed his first draft. Not because he had suddenly become a better writer, but because he understood the power of momentum. Small wins are like compound interest for your success. Each small victory builds confidence. Each bit of progress creates energy. Each step forward makes the next step easier. Most people wait to take action until they feel confident. But confidence doesn't come from waiting. It comes from winning. And winning starts with small victories. Think about the last time you cleaned your house. The hardest part wasn't the cleaning itself, it was getting started. But once you began, once you saw that first room clean, something shifted, you want to keep going. That's momentum action. Momentum doesn't care about your past. It doesn't care about your failures. It only cares about what you're doing right now. In this moment, every day, you're either building momentum or losing it. There's no standing still in life. Your life today is the sum total of your daily habits, not your occasional bursts of effort, not your New Year's resolutions. Your daily habits, small actions repeated consistently, create unstoppable momentum. Look at any area where you're struggling right now. I guarantee the root cause isn't a lack of knowledge or ability, it's a lack of momentum. You're stuck in the starting phase, burning up all your energy, trying to get moving. Momentum can be created intentionally. You don't have to wait for motivation or inspiration. You can build it through conscious, deliberate action. Start so small that it seems almost ridiculous. Want to get in shape? Start with one push-up. Want to build a business? Make one sales call. Want to write a book? Write one paragraph. The size of your first step doesn't matter. What matters is that you take it, and then another and another. Each step builds upon the last. Each action creates energy for the next action. That's how you create unstoppable momentum. I remember working with an entrepreneur who was stuck in analysis paralysis. Every day she'd research more, plan more, prepare more. One day I asked her to do something different. For the next 30 days, I said, take one action every morning before you check your email. Just one action. By day 30, she had more momentum than she'd built in the previous year. Opportunities start finding you. People start noticing you. Doors start opening, not because you're lucky, but because you're in motion. The universe rewards action, not intention. But remember this, momentum works both ways. Just as positive actions build positive momentum, inaction builds resistance. Every time you delay, every time you procrastinate, every time you say, I'll start tomorrow, you're building momentum in the wrong direction. That's why the best time to start is now, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect. Now, because momentum doesn't require perfect conditions, it creates perfect conditions. Water, when it's still, it becomes stagnant, but when it's moving, it stays fresh, clear, and powerful. Your life works the same way. Movement creates clarity. Action creates opportunity. Momentum creates success. Knowledge without action is merely entertainment. What separates dreamers from achievers isn't what they know. It's what they do with what they know. Right now, in this moment, we're going to turn everything we've discussed into a concrete plan of action. I worked with a CEO who had every productivity app, every planning tool, every system imaginable, but he was stuck. When I asked him to show me his daily schedule, he pulled out 5 different planners. Your life is as complicated as you make it, I told him. We threw everything away and created one simple plan. His productivity doubled in 3 weeks. Success loves simplicity. The more complicated your plan, the less likely you are to follow it. I'm going to give you a simple, proven system that's helped thousands of people transform their dreams into reality. But remember, the best plan isn't the most sophisticated one. It's the one you'll actually follow. Start with what I call your power hour, the first 60 minutes of your day. Most people give away their first hour checking emails, scrolling through social media, reacting to other people's priorities. But the most successful people in the world on their first hour, they use it to set the tone for the entire day. What your power hour looks like: 20 minutes of planning, 20 minutes of learning, 20 minutes of action toward your biggest goal. That's it. Simple, focused, effective. Before the world wakes up and starts making demands on your time, you've already moved forward. You need to track your progress, not once a week, not once a month, but every single day. Get a simple notebook. At the end of each day, write down 3 things: what you accomplished, what you learned, and what you'll do tomorrow. This isn't just record keeping. It's building accountability to yourself. I remember working with a woman who wanted to build her own consulting practice. She had the skills, the experience, everything she needed, except results. Why? Because she never measured her activity. When we started tracking her daily actions, something amazing happened. She could see in black and white exactly what she was doing and not doing. Within 3 months, she had more clients than she could handle. Your daily habits are like votes for the person you want to become. Each small action is a vote. Each completed task is a vote. These votes don't seem significant in the moment, but over time they determine your destiny. The key is to make these votes conscious and deliberate. Create what I call a success ritual. 3 non-negotiable actions you'll take every day, no matter what. These aren't huge commitments. They're small, consistent actions that move you toward your goals. If you want to build a business, make 1 sales call. If you want to write a book, write 1 page. If you want to get in shape, do 10 minutes of exercise. The power isn't in the size of the action. It's in the consistency. When you commit to these small daily actions, you're really committing to becoming a different person. You're building new neural pathways. You're creating new patterns of behavior. Don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Are you taking more action? Are you learning from your experiences? Are you moving forward, even if it's just 1 small step? Success isn't a sprint. It's a marathon run 1 step at a time. Each day, ask yourself 1 simple question. Did my actions today take me closer to my goals or further away? This simple question will keep you focused, keep you honest, and keep you moving forward. Right now, in this moment, you stand at a crossroads. 1 path leads to where you've always been, comfortable, safe, predictable. The other path leads to everything you've dreamed of becoming. The path you choose in the next few minutes will determine not just your future, but the future of everyone your life touches. I've seen too many people walk out of rooms like this, fired up with inspiration, only to let that fire die before they take action. That's not going to be your story. Your story starts right now in this chair with the decision you're about to make. Take out your phone. Open your calendar. Schedule your power hour for tomorrow morning, not next week, not when you feel ready, tomorrow. That's your first stake in the ground, your first declaration to yourself and the universe that this time is different. You already have everything you need to begin. You have the formula for success. You have the understanding of how to break through your fears. You have the power to build momentum. The only question that remains is, will you use them? Remember what we discussed about decisions. Real decisions are made in moments like this when you choose to burn the bridges behind you and commit fully to moving forward. This is your moment. This is your time. Years from now, you'll look back on this day. What story will you tell? Will you talk about the day you almost changed your life? Or will you talk about the day you did? The day you stopped waiting and started acting? The day you stopped preparing and started achieving? The next step is yours to take, and I know with absolute certainty that you're ready to take it. Stand up, step forward. Your extraordinary life is waiting. Now go make it happen.